YouTube video, the Ultimate Strongman Sunday Lunch, and I'm joined here by the Daddy Glenn Ross, 5 times UK Strongest Man.
And it's great being here with my son, the champ, Marcus Ross, to launch this new segment of our channel, the Ultimate Strongman Sunday Lunch. It's going to be absolutely amazing, but a really fun-packed weekly show.
And the difference is between our channel and all the other channels out there is that we want to get you involved. And we want to get your questions answered about the big strength topics around the world. Our conversation, Dad, is about Gregor Shamanski, who has been invited to World's Strongest Man as the 30th competitor in Sacramento, California, from the 24th to the 29th of May. What do you make of that?
Absolutely buzzing about it to see Gregor Shamanski back on the world stage. I'm so chuffed for him, chuffed for his family, because they've been through an absolutely unbelievable few years, Marcus. Not only is he a champion in Poland, but this guy has fought cancer and he's a champion in life. And we're so pleased for Gregor's. We're so very, very pleased. And we hope that he's back to full strength to smash it here on the world stage at World's Strongest Man. And as you know, this is his 4th Worlds, and he finished 8th last time out. And that was the year that Brian Shaw finished 4 World's Strongest Man titles. So could he be a lucky charm, Gregor Shamanski, for Brian and get that 5th title that Brian so much wants and matches Gregor's countryman, Mariusz Pudzianowski, who has won it 5 times. And he'd be the 2nd guy in history to do it if Brian could do it.
Well, Gregor's has big shoes to fill as he's replacing Mateusz Kieliszkowski. And Mateusz has been out now for 3 years on the trot. What do you make of that?
Well, it just seems this guy's plagued with injuries. But one thing I do know about Mateusz Kieliszkowski, you know, in the World Championships for Ultimate Strongman, he finished runner-up, as did Gregor Shamanski in our very first one. These guys are fighters. Poland has real fighting community, and they never give up. And we know that Mateusz Kieliszkowski, like Gregor's, will be back fighting on the world stage, fighting for those big trophies.
Check out Gregor Shamanski's 370 kg raw deadlift after defeating cancer. It's inspirational. We're really excited to have the Ultimate Strongman calendar back on track this year with the Ultimate Strongman UK Strongest Man Eliminator. What do you make of that, Dad?
Oh, very excited, Marcus. We're actually doing 2 shows in one at Doncaster Dome this year. Technically the home of Strongman, if you like, because that's where all the nursed events that go into big stages start up on, and it's a great facility for that. And we're doing the Doncaster Dome will hold the UK Strongest Man Eliminator and the UK Strongest Woman this year. But I'm especially excited about the men's category because we've probably 12 guys. Each one of them could qualify. It's going to be a real nail biter. It's one not to be missed.
What was the idea behind the actual Eliminator event?
Well, as things improve and Strongman develops, we felt that, you know, this wild card from each of the nations should get given a second shot for the final 2 places rather than going on a point system. So, you know, you get your top 3 from each of the nations going automatically through from the qualifier, from England's Strongest Man, etc., etc. But the wild cards then should be selected from that. For guys who maybe just missed out, especially with the year of the pandemic, some guys weren't able to go to the facilities, and top athletes, for example, like Andrew Flynn and Chris Morgan, really struggled to get their training with some of the gyms being closed.
Well, this is definitely making sure that we're going to have 16 of the strongest men fighting it out for that UK Strongest Man crown. Now let's look at the athletes. I'm looking at James Williams. What do you make of that guy?
Well, he's a new guy, Marcus, within the Ultimate Strongman. And I have to say, mate, he really, really impressed me. A great tire flipper, so we wonder watching it. And, you know, statically quite a very strong guy. So he could be a dark horse for this, and he definitely deserves his place in this lineup.
The English are definitely going to be up for the fight. Now, Chris Morgan. Chris Morgan has been in the UK Strongest Man a number of times now. Last year didn't have a particularly good performance. Went out in day 1 in the Stone Eliminator. Is he going to look to do well this time?
Yeah, well, I can honestly, you know, I'll sit in Chris's corner on that one. You know, again, last year was like due to the pandemic, gyms being closed, facilities and stuff, all the athletes struggled. And you could tell, because Chris is such a static monster amongst our athletes. I mean, he's an unbelievable log presser. I mean, he mixed it with Hixie They had equal points in the log in one of the UK Strongest Man. So he is a great static guy. I'm glad to see him back. And he's now been able to train, totally focused. I've seen some of his gym videos, and he is really looking in great shape. And I would not discount him to make that top 2.
Yeah, certainly. And one of the most exciting competitors, one of my favourites for this contest, is definitely Andrew Flynn. Andrew Flynn made day 3 of the UK Strongest Man last year and won the first event, which was the truck push. He beat Gavin Bilton, the current UK Strongest Man, but then got injured in event 2, which was so devastating because who knew what he could have produced in that event.
Yeah, it really looked like it was going to be a Cinderella final for Andrew that year. And, you know, he's a top competitor. He keeps coming back. He keeps producing the goods. And this year, you know, he deserves his place in this lineup for the Eliminator. And he'll be one to watch. And again, who's going to predict this one? This is really going to be really tough. I mean, those guys already are just, anybody could do it.
And the final guy from the English lineup is Josh Brown. Don't know a lot about this guy, but what can you tell me?
He's a bear. He's an absolute bear of a man. I'm telling you, this guy is huge. And, you know, I don't know much about him. Only he produced the goods in England's Strongest Man, and he deserves to be here. You know, he just missed out on qualifying. And listen, if anything, he's going to be one scary strongman.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Watch out for Josh Brown. He is a bear. All our English finalists looked at now. And now we're moving on to look at the Irish competitor. And there's only one in this lineup, but what a competitor. We're looking at the 4th UK Strongest Man, Nicky Whelan. What do you make of him?
Well, what could be said about Nicky? You know, he's been known as a stone monster in the past. You know, they call him the Wexford Warrior. He's an absolute legend when it comes to strongman in Ireland. He's been around a long time. And, you know, one thing I will say about Nicky, he's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's always runner-up. He's always on the podium. It'd be absolutely brilliant to see him in the UK final and really, really mix it. And one thing about him, he's been around a long time. So listen, he's going to be a wise old fox when it comes to this event.
Well, if it certainly goes down to the stones, Nicky could be in for a real shot.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Now let's look at our Scottish athletes. And first up, what a man we have. He's called the Braveheart. He's called Scott Millen. What a character.
Listen, for me, Scott Millen, who's going to beat him? I think this contest, if there was a list of events that were ever built for Scott Millen, it's this now that's lined up. And, you know, I think Braveheart for me is going to be the man to beat. I mean, they all should be looking. If they keep staying in front of Scott throughout the competition, they're going to go through. It's as simple as that.
Well, he had such a Cinderella story last year at UK Strongest Man, making the final in the Stone Eliminator in day 2, and then nearly making the podium in day 3.
Yeah. And listen, I've spoke to Scott on the phone as well recently, and you know, he says his training's going really well. And one thing he's not going to be doing is the Stone Eliminator in this one. He says he's going to qualify in the first 3 events. And listen, I wouldn't bet against him. Scott is ready, and he's in great shape.
That's great. And the next competitor we're looking at is Callum Crowser. There's been a lot of talk about this guy. What is it about?
Well, Callum has come through actually a qualification round run by Stuart Murray, you know, great promoter in Scotland. And everybody's talking about this boy, Callum. He is super strong, and he deserves this spot within the category for the Scottish guys. Because at the end of the day, we're looking to get the very best and the very best going for this title.
Brilliant. And the last competitor from Scotland is Chris Beetham. They call him the Beef. How much beef is he going to bring to the party?
Well, listen, there's one thing that Chris Beetham will not be beat on is stones. So if it comes down to the Eliminator, Chris is going to do it, in my opinion. But, you know, it's just a question of will he make the Eliminator? Because it's a really tough lineup, as you can see. It's absolutely stacked. And, you know, Chris has his weaknesses and he also has his strengths. But if he does enough to make the Eliminator, you know, everybody's going to be...
How many guys go through in the last stone off at the end of the competition?
Only 2.
Only 2, oh my word. If we have 2 of the competitors going through in that stone eliminator, I don't know. I don't think I could call it. It'll be too close to call. Yeah. And now that we're going to look finally at the Welsh athletes. And these guys have big shoes to fill, with the current UK Strongest Man being from Wales, Gavin Bilton. And this man needs no introduction, Desmond Gahan. becoming a big star in the strongman world at the minute.
Yeah.
How is he going to fare in the eliminator?
Well, they call him the Welsh Viking. For one reason, he comes to destroy his opposition. And this guy is absolutely unbelievable at all the events. So he's going to be a real dark horse here. I really fancy Desmond to produce the goods and be another Welsh competitor in the grand final.
Well, he'll be wanting to get to that UK Strongest Man because he still hasn't made day 3, the final, to see what he can really do on the show. The second competitor from Wales is Gregor Shamanski, and he come third in Wales Strongest Man. A guy really that come out of the blue.
Listen, this guy is a powerball. He's a cannonball. You know, he's full of explosive power, Gregor Shamanski, and, you know, he's got great shoulders. So I'm really looking forward to see what he can do with the daddy dumbbell. And there's people like him that's going to mix it with the big guns and really could be quite detrimental for the ones who are probably favoured to go through.
And when you say about mixing, there's no other guy than Luke Sperdati, the final Welsh athlete, who just reminds me of a bit of a Tom Stoltman bit of stature about him. He's got everything that a strongman needs these days. He's got length, he's got grip, he's got everything. What do you think he has?
Well, for me, 100% what you're saying. Like, Luke Sperdati is the future, certainly in Wales, of the strongman. You know, he's young, he's talented, and he could be a dark horse here in this lineup. And as you can see now, we've just mentioned 12 athletes, and you couldn't call any of them.
Instead for Doncaster in this UK Strongest Man Eliminator, and there's no other way to kick off at the minute with the tower flip, 400 kilos. What a way to start.
The old faithful has returned, the tower flip. A lot of guys hate it because it's all cardio. But listen, it's been like strongman now has developed into all sports now. And you see all the rugby guys, all the boxers, MMA, they're all flipping tires because, listen, you literally turn over guys in rugby and football and strong. You know, it's a great discipline to do. But listen, not everybody can flip 450 kilos. And only strong men can do that. So listen, you might have some strong rugby guys, but they're definitely not flipping 450 kilos, Marcus.
And what's that 450 kilos going to sound like when it hits that ground in the Doncaster Dome Arena?
Like a Jurassic Park T-Rex. Boom! Boom! It's going to be absolutely, and listen, the place is going to erupt to see who will get to the finish line on this one.
And what a way to start the UK Strongest Man Eliminator. The second event is the daddy dumbbell, one of your favourites. 93 kilos in one hand has to be pressed above their heads. How is that going to be done?
Well, listen, it's a massive dumbbell. It's 90 kilos in weight. It's got a massive girth, over 3.5 inches thick handle. You know, it's the exact replica that was in the Arnold Classic, but it has the daddy weight, which is 90 kilos. So it's going to be a real test. The current record in the UK is 8 repetitions by the late Arne Page. So it's going to be really, really good to watch. And also, Lauren Shalley done 8 repetitions on it as well. So these two guys hold the actual current record. Can it be beat amongst this lineup? Well, we've got some of the best pressers in the country in this. So, yeah, I think we might see a record.
And why do the guys find this particular event really difficult compared to the other standard dumbbells that they use in competitions?
Well, it's basically more to do with the handle, Marcus. The handle's 3.5 inches tall. So not only is it going to be difficult to get it to your shoulders here, which you're allowed to do with 2 hands, but pressing it with one hand with such a thick handle and that massive weight above your head, which is 200 pounds, is really, really difficult. And we've got some great pressers like I mentioned before, the Welsh guy, Gregor Shamanski, you know, to the absolutely awesome shoulders of Chris Morgan. So it's going to be a really, really tight one.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. The third event is the deadlift for reps, 300 kilos. What is that going to bring?
Well, again, we've got some great deadlifters in this lineup, you know, and this is where you'll see Scott Millen, in my opinion, come into his own here, and he will produce the goods here. This is where it's going to bring him to top 2. So if anybody can beat Scott in the reps, then they've got a chance of making the UK Strongest Man final.
Well, there you go, guys. If you're in that eliminator lineup, you've got to stay with Scott Millen if you want to get the big points. And the final event in this event, it of course is the Stone Eliminator.
Yep.
It's brought so much drama over the years in the UK Strongest Man. You may have seen it in Channel 5. If you haven't, get on there and look at Channel 5 on the catch-up, and you'll be able to see what this event brings. It brings so much drama. What are you excited about it?
What I love about this event itself, that the Stone Eliminator, the second and third in the competition, will be doing it, and only one place can go through. So whoever wins the first 3 events goes through in the UK Strongest Man final, and then second and third play it out for that final spot. And it's going to be nail biting. It's one of them ones you won't want to miss.
We've looked at all the athletes and all the events for the UK Strongest Man Eliminator, but now we want to look at the daddy's predictions. What are your predictions on this one?
You've put me on the spot to find the spot, Smargus. But for me, the guy who's going to go through this time has to be the Braveheart, Scott Millen. The events suit him. He's focused. He should have made it automatically already through Scotland's Strongest Man, but had a really tough competition. But I think he's left nothing to chance here. And for me, Scott Millen will get that golden ticket place.
And then we're looking at all the other athletes. Who's going to be the last 2 that are going to be in that stone eliminator?
Well, that one place fight out for second and third, it's going to be so tough, Marcus. I mean, the whole lineup could do it, in my opinion. You know, but you all put me in the corner a little bit here. For me, it could be Chris Morgan, Andrew Flynn, even our own Nicky Whelan from Ireland could produce a Cinderella story at the Old Fox and make it through. You know, Chris Beetham, another Scottish competitor, very, very good. He'd be great. Desmond Gannon, and then obviously the young pretender, Luke Spadati. But listen, from top to bottom, it's completely stacked with all these guys. Any one of them could do it. But, you know, if I'm going to put my reputation on the line, for me, Andrew Flynn. I think Andrew Flynn's going to do it. I think Andrew Flynn will be that wild card place in the eliminator and will go through.
And for that difficulty in that prediction there, it's really close to call this contest. I don't think anyone can call it. So you've got to be there to see it. So get your tickets at www.ultimatestrongman.tv. Who's going to win that?
We'll soon see.
Part 2 of our Sunday lunch stand is looking at UK Strongest Woman 2022. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, this is our second year having it back. I did run it back in 2000, back in the old days where we were trying to develop the women athletes and women strong women to a really, really top level. And we got to do World's Strongest Man. And I was involved with the late Douglas Edmonds in involving UK Strongest Woman, getting the qualification for that. And I did it for about 3 years, but it just wasn't ready, in my opinion, to go to the big stage events where we're going to have crowds and stuff like that. And as in turn, the men's sport and strong woman has grown now. We're getting these massive thousands of people coming to watch the stadium events. So now is the time to bring strong woman to a world stage, stadium stage, with big crowds, TV, everything's going to watch them again.
And what sort of women ambassadors are out there at the minute that are really pushing the sport forward?
There's a whole handful of them, really, that are really pushing it, you know, from the lightweight classes right up to the heavy one. But with this class, we're looking to find the UK strongest woman. And all the weight classes are in this 12-woman lineup. And listen, they could all do it.
And one of the women ambassadors out there at the minute is definitely Donna Moore, the first woman in our lineup, UK's strongest woman, the current champion. What do you make of her?
Well, she's known as the GOAT because she's the greatest of all time. Simple as that. If you want to win this contest, you've got to beat Donna Moore. And from what we've seen in their training videos, she's lost a little bit of weight, but her agility, everything has come into par here. She is going to be so tough to beat in this contest. She's in great shape.
The next woman we have up is podium placer from last year and the current world record holder in the deadlift of 300 kilos, Lucy Underdown.
Well, it's great to have Lucy at our UK stage last year. Give her a bit of Channel 5 love. So everybody, thousands of people got to see women's sport come into that peak. And she was the first girl in history to do a 300 kilo deadlift. So she's got that on her shoulders. There's a deadlift in this contest. But there's some tough, great deadlifters that are coming close to her. But, you know, she should win that event. But it's not just that event. There's 5 grueling disciplines here to find the UK strongest woman. And she's certainly going to be a podium contender and could be a wild card to win the title.
The next woman we're going to have that could be really pushing for that podium, and I mean, and she's an impressive athlete throughout the whole world at the minute, doing many contests throughout the whole planet, and she is really proving that she is one of the strongest women at the minute. It's Annabelle Chapman. What do you make of her?
Well, Annabelle, she'll be the one to watch. If there's a dark horse in this competition that could win, it's Annabelle Chapman. She's won a couple of contests of late. She's probably ranked number 1 on the planet at the minute, and she'll be one to watch certainly in this competition and could take Donna Moore's title.
And the next woman we have is Shannon Clifford, Paul Smith's fiance. What a reputation to live up to there.
Yeah. She's an absolute pocket rocket, no question about it. And she is pound for pound ranked the strongest woman on the planet.
Whoa.
Yeah. She's in the 60 kilo class, and she's beating really strong girls, heavier, more bolder than her, and she could definitely make the podium this year.
And the final athlete from England, which I don't know a lot about, hopefully you can tell me a bit, is Nadine Guy.
Yeah, Nadine, new girl on the block, you know, and she really is a fantastic strong woman, and we're really, really excited to have this English girl perform at our show for the very first time. And again, it could be another dark horse, you know, very, very strong, agility's good, and she'll be one to watch surely.
I mean, look at the lineup there from England. It's going to be hard to beat. Dad, let's look at the Irish competitors. And from the north of the border, we've got Gemma Moore. She was here last year, looking to do so much better this year, though.
Yeah, Gemma is an absolute class act, Marcus, and I'm very excited that she's back. You know, she made the grand final last year, and I think, like all great athletes, sometimes the first year, a little bit of nerves. She's, you know, competing with Donna Moore, big stars like that. You get a little bit nervous, but now she's coming back experienced. She knows what to do. The events, in my opinion, are very good for her. She's a great deadlifter, probably one of the best deadlifters in the whole lineup. So she'll definitely be one to watch and could be a wild card for the podium.
Then we've went from top of experience and maybe low experience in this competition. We're now looking at Sarah Reynolds. Not heard of this girl.
Well, certainly within our circles of strong women at top level, she hasn't competed in any of our shows. But yes, she's been around a wee while. She does know the equipment. She does know how to compete. And, you know, she's certainly ready to win. Sarah Reynolds, you know, she's a Dublin girl. And, you know, she's going to really be a fantastic ambassador for Ireland.
And that's for sure. She's going to be competing against all the other athletes in this contest, against one of the biggest crowds that she's probably ever been up against.
There's no doubt. I mean, we got a really stacked Doncaster Dome, and you know, there's only a few tickets left, so you know you need to get them quick because this is going to be 2 shows in one: UK Strongest Man Eliminator, a UK Strongest Woman, 212 lineups. It's going to be unbelievable. I can't wait.
Now let's look at the Scottish athletes, and first up, she needs no introduction. It's Izzy Tate.
Yeah, Izzy Tate. What an absolute powerhouse in Scotland. You know, when you talk about static strength in strong woman, you know, you've got to think Izzy Tate is up there. You know, statically, with some of these static events we have, I can't see anybody being beaten Izzy. She is absolutely a class act. It's how good will she be in the tower? Things like that. This is what's going to make her a chance of being UK Strongest Woman. If she's got the tools to deliver on the tower, she'll be one to watch for the win.
And was she here last year at the UK Strongest Woman?
No. Again, you know, with the pandemic and things like that, there was a couple of issues with Izzy, but she's back bigger and stronger, and we hope that she can deliver this time and certainly make a podium for Scotland, if not win this contest.
I'm sure she was devastated not to be there last year, and she'll be fired up for this one. Next up, we've got Kay Gallagher. Who's this girl?
Well, Kay, again, you know, she's been competing in strong woman in Scotland for a while now. Now this is her first UK Strongest Woman final. She's definitely a strong girl, and the events are pretty good for her. So, you know, I think she'll do a great representation for Scotland, and, you know, there could be a couple of flags on that podium.
Dad, let's look at the Welsh competitors, and this girl needs no introduction. It's the current world's strongest woman, Rebecca Roberts.
Yep, Rebecca, what an absolute competitor. And last year, She missed out, was it by a point, to
was,
win the UK Strongest Woman. And she is back hungry for this title. And Donna Moore needs to have her A game. And, this is going to be so close this year. She's probably the favourite for the title because of the shape she's in, Rebecca. She's so strong. She also can move now with the equipment. And Donna Moore is going to be really up against it to beat Rebecca Roberts. But, one thing about Donna Moore, she is a real fox when it comes to a strong woman, and she knows the events. So if there's ways of planning her win, she'll do it like she did last year, and she done it with the sack carry. Nobody thought Donna Moore could carry that sack as far, and she did. And I think this competition will be the same. It's not just going to be about brawn, but it's going to be a little bit about brains.
Well, the difference between this year and last year is it was actually a 2-day competition last year, and this year it's a 1-day competition. How does that fare?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to have your A game. There's no room for mistakes. You've got to come to win on that day. No mistakes. Win the title. Go there to be the champion.
And our next competitor is the Welsh Terror, Sam Taylor. She was there last year at the UK Strongest Woman. What's she going to change this time?
Yeah, the Terror Taylor. And listen, she comes as a package. She has her partner with her. The two of them are a little bit like the old Finnish pair that used to be in World's Strongest Man. And, they're absolutely great. And they're great, strong women. Both of them very, very strong. And but Sam Taylor, she's going to be a real talent in Wales and one to watch as she continues to improve with age. And she's one of the oldest competitors in this lineup.
And the final competitor making up this stacked lineup is Claire Meyer.
Claire Meyer, and she is the oldest girl in the lineup. She is 50 years of age. And listen, she is like a fine wine. She's improving with age. She's a strong girl and deserves to be part of this 12-woman lineup for the title.
And we all know how much the older competitors get in terms of support. Look at Mark Felix these days, and hopefully she can get the same amount of support as he does in this contest. Now let's look at the disciplines, Dad. First of all, we've got the tire flip, 250 kilos. What a way to start.
Yeah, a great cardio event, but this is 1/4 ton. So these girls are going to be super strong, super fit to get up the 20-meter course. And you're going to see great girls like Lucy Underdown come into their own. One of her best events, and for me, she's going to win that one.
And this event was the first event in the UK Strongest Woman final last year. And the girls were looking at the tires last year, being a wee bit overconfident, I have to say.
Yeah, they thought, we've flipped heavier tires, but this is an awkward tire. This is an awkward, very awkward indeed. And the girls have to be fit, strong, agile to get this over.
There you go. You need to have every attribute in the book to get it started with that one. And our second event is the Donna Moore dumbbell press, 53 kilos. What's that event all about?
Yeah, I've got these bespoke dumbbells made. They look absolutely magnificent. And, I had to name them after, we've got the Daddy dumbbell. And who not to name a dumbbell after only the GOAT of strong woman, and that's Donna Moore. So, we've named it the Donna Moore dumbbell in her honor, and she deserves it, 3 times World's Strongest Woman.
Well, no pressure on her then. How many reps do you think she'll get in this?
Well, she'll be the one to watch in this, and also Rebecca Roberts. They are the two big pressers, but let's not forget the biggest presser of all, Annabelle Chapman. She will be at the UK Strongest Woman this year to be the first woman in history to press 300-pound log.
Well, I think this is just going to be a bit of a warm-up for Annabelle, so make sure you come and see how many reps that she can do in this event. The third event in the UK Strongest Woman is the deadlift for reps, 200 kilos. What a cardio buster that is.
No doubt about it, Marcus. You've got your maximum deadlift queen, if you like, Lucy Underdown, the lioness of England. And she obviously won the deadlift last year, but I got equal repetitions because it caught her out the reps with Rihanna Lovelace, who's unfortunately not with us competing this year. But, Rihanna, great ambassador, strong woman, even though her size and weight was a lot differently to Lucy Underdown, she still performed really well. And the two of them will also be at the UK Strongest Woman as a deadlift playoff for reps. on day one. So, you know, it's great to have the girls involved in the UK Strongest Woman for our halftime shows. And it's going to be great. And I know Lucy's trained very hard for the repetitions. So I can't see beyond her on not winning this contest. But then Izzy Tate's in the competition, a real powerhouse. Gemma Moore, one of the best deadlifters on the planet. And obviously, you can't deny Rebecca Roberts is also doing really well in this contest.
And for the viewers that do not know, what is the difference between the likes of a max deadlift and a deadlift for repetitions?
Well, it's simple. A max deadlift, you're pulling the biggest weight you can from the floor. And repetitions, you've got a time of 75 seconds to do as many reps into a full lockout and down as possible.
And is it all about pacing yourself in this sort of event?
It's about lower back power and your cardio power and pure strength in the hips and the glutes to get the thing up.
How many repetitions is Lucy going to do you think?
I think Lucy's good for a dozen.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. 12 repetitions. That's going to be some number to beat. And their fourth event is the Stones of Strength, one of the most classic strongman events that you'll ever see. What do you make of this one?
Well, the Stones of Strength, yeah, it's so iconic, isn't it, within strong woman and strong man. And, you know, we've got some great stone lifters. But again, the best stone lifter on the planet at the minute, in my eyes, is Rebecca Roberts. And she is the girl to beat when it comes to the stones. So Donna Moore is going to really have to have her A game to beat Rebecca in that discipline.
And what are the weights for the stones? What do they start from? What's the heaviest that the girls are going up to?
They start 85 kilos this year. Then they go up in 15s to 85 to 100, 100 to 115, 130, and then the massive 145 kilos stone of strength, the ultimate stone of strength, which is 21 inches across in diameter. And it's yet to be put on by any of these strongmen.
And is it true that you actually have the biggest stones in the whole of the strongman world?
Yeah, but our last big stone for the men's is 23 inches across in diameter. It weighs 175 kilos, and it is really awkward. And there's only been 3 guys on the planet lifted it.
Oh my word, that's amazing. And for those who do not know, last year, Rebecca Roberts and Donna Moore were going for the title, and both of them couldn't put that last stone on of 145 kilos. Will they do it this time?
I think so. It's like last year, like I explained, sometimes some of the girls have got to feel the competition, feel the discipline, train on their weaknesses. And one thing's for sure, Rebecca Roberts is coming to put that last stone on, as is Donna Moore, as is Lucy Underdown. They're all here to win.
And the final event, which is no other than basically the ultimate strongman kind of signature event at the minute. You might have seen it on TV, on YouTube. It's a nail-biter deadlift hold for the title.
Yep, this is where the girls will be strapped in. And it's not just about back power, leg power, and grip. The girls will have to show the biggest heart. And for me, you've got to give it to the Lioness. She's going to be one to watch in this. She has one thing about Lucy. She never gives up, as well does Rebecca Roberts. I mean, you have your Kay Gallagher's as well, Sarah Reynolds. They're all tough girls. You know, Claire, this is where they can come in their own. Even the Terra Sam Taylor. So this final discipline is going to be one to watch, and it's going to be nail-biter for the title.
There you have it. There's 12 of the strongest UK athletes that we have to give. And now I want to get your predictions, Dad.
Again, you put me on the spot, but for top 3, you know, I'm going to say Rebecca Roberts this year. I think Donna Moore will come a close second, but it's going to be really hard to call between these two. And I think for me, Annabelle Chapman is going to get that 3rd spot. She's going to make the podium this year.
And you're not supporting any of the Irish athletes. How are they going to fare?
Well, I think Gemma Moore is going to have a really good competition this year. I think you could see her being top 5.
This is going to be a family fun-packed day from start to finish. We've got stalls, we've got halftime shows, and we've got the Daddy T-shirt gun. How excited are you to use that?
It's going to be absolutely amazing, Marcus. And let's get our last-minute tickets on www.ultimatestrongman.tv, and we'll see you there.
You've got to be part of it, but the main question is, who's going to win?
We'll soon see.
If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe below, and let's see some great comments of what you'd like to see. And if you want to go to an Ultimate Strongman show, get your tickets, ultimatestrongman.tv, and we'll see you there.